All right, in this next set of code, we're going to add just a little more complication. We have created another image here. This little center strip is our web page output. We have our original three default images that when we mouse over, we get a secondary image that shows only as long as the mouse is over top of the image. Then when we mouse out, it goes back to the original default. So we have this home default with rollover image, blog default, rollover image, about default, rollover image. We created a logo, no rollover image action. So we put in an if condition that has a regular expression that's basically looking for a specific word in the ID. Now, when I first did this, I changed the ID. Actually, this is the e-handler that's the helper script that is mandatory along with the test.html web page script code. Um, by reading the library book, it was my understanding that the regular expression was going to be based on the image ID. Okay, if it had the word rollover in it, then it would only do the rollover effect for any images that have the ID with the word rollover in it, which meant that this extra image that I put on the page with just ID logo, since it didn't have the string rollover in that ID, that you would be good to go. Unfortunately, and I'm not sure how to explain it, but that wasn't good enough just to make sure that the ID had the word rollover in it. I also had to go inside of my folder and change all the names of my images. I had to add rollover in there or it wasn't working. So we added rollover to each of these image IDs, and we added a new image without the word rollover involved, and we created that logo.ping here, and then I changed all the names of my about default and about rollover, blog default and blog rollover, even though, and this is another thing too, I thought that, okay, well, as long as blog rollover has rollover in it, that you shouldn't have to have rollover underscore blog underscore rollover, but that didn't work right either. I had to tack on the word rollover for every single one of these images that were dealing with this mouse over and mouse out. And so, yeah, I don't know really how to explain that because I would have assumed as long as the ID had what we were looking for, that would be good enough for the regular expression, but I'm just explaining to you what all had to be done to make this work right. Because this is the end result, that you roll over these images and it accepts the roll mouse out, mouse over and mouse out functionality, but this logo image right here doesn't. It doesn't have a second image, and it doesn't even respond to the mouse over or mouse out. So I have it working the way it should. So as long as you understand what you have to do with your images, that how you have to rename them so that it works, then you'll be good to go. Before I go over this page, which is basically like the video right before this, except for like the regular expression. I'm going to go over the e-handler generic handler function that you have to have in order for this to work as well. And I'm going to go over it really fast. This is called ehandler.js. It's the external JavaScript. Var ehandler equals, and then you've got curly braces with nothing in it and the semicolon. All right. If document.event listener, opening curly brace, ehandler.add equals function, and in parentheses element comma etype comma efunction, beginning curly braces. If etype equals load, and remember there are two equal signs here, beginning curly braces. If type of window.onload equals function, again double equal sign, beginning curly braces. Var existing onload equals window.onload. And don't forget the semicolons where they're at. Don't forget any of these symbols. I don't want to have to read every single symbol. Just you see it, so make sure that you type it. Window.onload equals function. Existing on load, efunc. And here's the ending curly brace. Then you have an else here. Remember these curly braces. Window.onload equals efunc. Remember these curly braces and these. Else, another set of curly braces. Element.add event listener in parentheses e-type comma efunc comma false. Then you've got this closing curly brace, this curly brace, closing curly brace, and this ending semicolon. Okay, then in line 20 we have ehandler.remove equals function, and in parentheses element comma e-type comma efunc. Inside here, element.remove event listener, e-type comma efunc false. And there's that ending curly brace with a semicolon, another ending curly brace. Now we have an else if on line 25. Document.attach event, curly brace, ehandler.add equals function. That's a single equal sign, not a double. Element comma e-type comma efunc. If e-type equals load, double equal sign there. If type of window.onload equals function, var existing on load equals window.onload, window.onload equals function, existing on load, efunc, there's that ending, there's this ending, then an else, and inside window.onload equals efunc. Remember to have your proper curly brace pairs, and there's another one, then another else. Inside of this curly brace pair, element.attach event, on in double quotes plus e type comma efunc, ending curly brace, semicolon. Almost done. ehandler.remove equals function, element comma e type comma efunc, element.detach event, and here on plus e type comma efunc, ending curly brace, semicolon, ending curly brace. And I just don't know how to explain this in proper English, but I know that it makes this code work, and if you don't have this file, your code is not going to work the way it's showing here in the center. So you have to have that. Now let's go to the test.html. This is the actual web page that you're looking at here in the middle. HTML head title, image rollover using a regular expression. Style, I gave my image tags a height of 22% so that when you go into a shorter page, your image shrinks so that it's 22% of whatever the height is. You see how that works. And now I'm just gonna go back up here. It's kind of doing what it wants. All right, anyway, then I have the linking script here that links to this ehandler.js JavaScript file that I already went over. Script type equals text / JavaScript. Source equals ehandler.js. That's the name of this, so that it links, it points to it, and it uses it. And script. Then we have a script in the head of this test.html file. So let's go over that. This is basically from this purple tag to this purple tag, from 11 to 37. It's basically the same. The only thing that's different is this line 19, this if statement, and this if statement has an opening curly brace that nests, if you will, all the stuff that we already did from the last video. So line 19 and line 34, I believe, besides changing the names of my images and the IDs of the images and the body, it's the only thing that's different. So let's go over it again really quick. Here's our script tag. Function rollover. Var images equals document.getElements by tag name, img. Var img length equals images.length. And here's a commented out alert, because like I said in the previous video, this wasn't functioning right, and I used an alert box to see what my value of img length was, to see if it was giving me the number of images that I needed. Now that I have another image, out of curiosity, let me uncomment this out because now my number should be 4 because I have a fourth image tag. So I should get the box saying there are 4 image tags on the body that will get. Actually, they won't all 4 get mouse over and mouse out events, only the ones that have the word rollover in the ID and in the name. So I could change this to this statement. There are, whatever this value, image tags in the body. Okay, and like I said, it should give us the number 4 as the value for image length. Line 18. Here we're creating a for loop. For var I equals 0, as long as I is less than image length, which in this case should be 4, I++, which means increment I. Line 19, if images I, and remember these are straight brackets, like an index. If images I, and when I first starts at 0, so all of these highlighted I's are going to have value of 0 initially. If images I.id.match, this is the regular expression, this is the newness. Rollover, when you've got a / before the word rollover and a / after the word rollover, and it's enclosed also in a parentheses. So this is the entire if condition. If images I.id.match rollover, if that's true, then it's going to proceed with everything that's in between this opening red curly brace and this closing red curly brace. It's going to actually take these handlers for the mouse over and mouse out function and apply it to whatever images match rollover, a word rollover with the ID. Okay, so if it finds a match with the word rollover in it, then here's the first e-handler that's going to be created. E-handler.add images I, mouse over, function I, return function, images I.source equals images I.id plus underscore rollover ping. And then here we have that ending curly brace semicolon, another ending curly brace, I in parentheses, and another closing parentheses and a semicolon. And then down here on line 28, I gave myself a little bit of visual space just for my benefit, not for the computer's benefit, but just so that I can see that this is a little hunk of code and this is just a copy and paste with a change of the word mouse over to mouse out. So in line 28, eHandler.add images I, comma, mouse out in double quotes, comma, function I, return function, images I.source equals images I.id plus underscore default ping. So again, when we mouse over the image, as long as it has the word rollover in its ID, then we are going to go with an ID that has the image source will be the image ID plus the underscore rollover ping, which you can see right here. We have the ending parts of these images, ending score rollover dot ping, ending score rollover dot ping, ending underscore rollover dot ping. So when we mouse over this, we're getting those images. Starts off with the default image, roll over it, now we're getting the underscore rollover dot ping image for each of these. But not this one because we don't have the word rollover in the name of the image as the source or the ID either. Where am I? Okay, and in line 31, we've got the ending curly brace and semicolon. We got another ending curly brace. We have I in parentheses and another closing parentheses and the ending semicolon. End if and for end function. Okay, so that's the end of the script that is in the head. So now 38 is the end of the head. Now we have body onload equals rollover. To go back up to the top, line 12 is the function rollover. We created the function, but it's not going to run until we call it. It just sits there like a set of directions. You have to call it in order for it to go. And so you either call it with a button on click event, or in this case, we're using the on load. When the page loads, when you first open it, it's immediately calling that rollover function and doing those things. All right, so body on load equals rollover, line 42. Now we're creating our paragraph tags with our images inside so that you're actually seeing these elements when you run the page. So another repetition of the last code. When you put these images inside paragraph tags, it's letting them stack one on top of the other. If you take your P tags off and just have your image tags here, then your images will line up left to right. Inside the P's, they're lining up top to bottom. All right, image ID equals rollover underscore home. This in the previous video was just ID equals home. Here we added this word rollover because our regular expression is going to be looking for something with the word rollover in it in order to even utilize this functionality. Okay, name equals img underscore home. That did not change. Only the ID name changed. Source equals, and like I said, this was originally home underscore default dot ping, and when I did not change the name to rollover underscore, it didn't work properly. And you can take this name off and run it, and you can see what I mean about how it didn't work properly. So I had to do not only the ID add rollover, but also the name of the image, and also make sure that you change the name of the image in the folder, or it won't be pointing to it. Okay, so that whole name was changed to rollover underscore home underscore default dot ping. And the alternative text, if something happens and the image is broken, the visitor's web page will have the word home in capitals. There's the end paragraph tag. And you just take this whole paragraph and you copy and paste it down here, and then you just change the names. So P image ID equals rollover underscore blog, name equals image underscore blog, source equals rollover underscore blog underscore default dot ping, alt equals blog. And in your folder with your rollover ping, right, blog, I mean, make sure you change this from just blog default ping to rollover underscore blog underscore default ping with all of them. Okay, then you copy and paste that whole thing and you do it here. P tag image ID equals rollover underscore about, name equals image underscore about, source equals rollover underscore about underscore default dot ping, alt equals about. I don't know if I read this whole thing, but you get the gist. I don't have to read it all over if I miss something. Line 48, this is the new image that I added, which is down here, that has no rollover action whatsoever. In the paragraph, you have image ID logo, name equals image underscore logo, source equals logo dot ping, alt equals logo. Just a very simple logo on the page. No functionality at all. Line 51, we have a script in the body, and we're almost done with this. Script type equals text / JavaScript. That's your opening script tag. And we have var body el for body element equals document dot get elements by tag name, body in parentheses and double quotes, and then this 0 in the straight brackets, and then your ending semicolon. And line 53, ehandler.add body L, which you created here, comma load in double quotes, comma function, and in curly braces, you're calling the function rollover, which is a little funny to me because I would have thought that this would have worked if I didn't put body on load equals rollover, but it actually didn't. It didn't. It didn't cause my rollover to work. I had to put body on load equals rollover to work. So there's some parts of this code that I kind of don't understand. I would have assumed it would have worked, but it didn't. And maybe because this book isn't brand new, maybe it's not working with the latest specifications. And so anyway, I got it to work now, and that's all that's important to me. if I learn what I did wrong or how I could have made this better in the future, then that just will make me a better coder. But for right now, I'm learning based on this particular library book. And as long as I got it to work, then I got it to work so far. All right, so I showed you from top to bottom the external ehandler.js, external JavaScript, and I showed you the web page itself from top to bottom, and I showed you what it looked like. I showed you how we got three images to use mouse over and mouse out events to change the image to something different. And I showed you how you can actually add another image that has nothing to do with the functionality of mouse over and mouse out. And I impressed upon the need to have the names of your images match what you've called them actually in the source. This right here, this is the line that it has to be perfect. Source equals rollover underscore home underscore default dot ping, and these are the names. If I change this, put a Z in front of it and misspell the name of the source, all right, and then this is about the home default, and then I refresh the page. Oh, there are 4 image tags in the body. That was referring to this alert box that I wanted to double check, so that works fine. But do you see what happened to home? Click OK. It's kind of strange. When you first click it, the image goes away because it's not matching the name of the image that it's supposed to be pointing to. And then when you click over top of it, it comes back. It's just a strange functionality. That's not what we want to happen. And actually, there was that same type of functionality. You would just see the alt tag. That's what the alt tag does. It gives you, see how I have home? If I were to change the alt tag here, I'll put a bunch of Z's in front of that. This basically shows you what happens if your code breaks and it's not pointing to the image right. Now let me refresh this again. You see all these Z's, home? That's that's the um, that's the functionality of the alt. It gives you what was supposed to be there. Maybe I could have said home img so it's more clear that it's an image that's supposed to be there. Well, I didn't save that. See, home img. Whatever you put in the alt, if something happens with the link of the image, that's what you're going to see. So I don't really want to keep that though. I was just showing you as an example. And I really don't like how that's functioning weird, how the image is disappearing. So I fix that and get out of here. And this is how, when you first refresh the page, you get this alert box. Okay. Okay. And this is how it's supposed to function. And this is, what else do I want to change? Oh, I don't really need to keep this alert box. So I'll just put a couple comment slashes, make it turn green. Refresh this one more time. Now the alert box does not show. Just the functionality that the code intended. Okay, so that's a wrap for this one.